But then, she delivered an unexpected performance that blew everyone away. With her powerful voice and electrifying dance moves, she set the stage on fire. Applause filled the room. Comments flooded in and her views soared into the millions. It was clear a star had been born. But things didn't quite progress as many anticipated. What happened? Why the delay in her career? Today, we're going to reveal the untold stories Courtney Hadwin has kept hidden. And trust me, they're nothing short of heartbreaking. Music, a little girl with dreams far bigger than her tiny shoulders could carry. That is the first picture you get when you start tracing back the early journey of Courtney Hadwin. Her sudden rise into the spotlight often created an illusion that she must have come from a family soaked in music, a home where someone strummed guitars or sang professionally. Maybe her father was a seasoned musician or her mother had a stage past of her own. But the truth is almost surprising in its simplicity. Courtney had no musical bloodline to inherit from, no guiding footsteps of a singer in the family. Music was not a family heirloom. It was a flame she discovered all on her own out of pure affection for sound, rhythm, and the strange magic of her own voice. Courtney was born on July 6, 2004 in the quiet community of Hessenden, County Durham, England. Her childhood didn't begin in glitter or noise. It was the kind of childhood where neighbors know one another, where life passes gently, and where a young girl can grow up grounded. Courtney was just another child in this close-knit village. But within her was a spark waiting to be discovered, even before she herself realized it. Raised in a modest household, far away from celebrity life or public attention, she grew up surrounded by peace and simplicity. Her parents, Paul and Maria Hadwin, held the family together with warmth and steadiness. Beside her were her younger siblings, Melissa and Paul Jr. Together, they formed a small world around her. But beneath that ordinary exterior lay something delicate and powerful, Courtney's untouched, unpolished musical gift. For Courtney, music was not a hobby that came and went with mood. It was a pull, something that tugged at her whenever she heard a tune. She didn't just hum casually or dance along mindlessly. She absorbed music. She lived inside it. Whenever a song played, the world around her slowed down as if giving her space to step into aspect light only she could see. Their simple living room transformed into her personal stage. That was where her earliest performances happened. A mix of funny dance steps, little spins, and heartfelt attempts at singing, which her family watched with a kind of amused tenderness. They didn't need her to explain anything. Her entire body language shouted what music meant to her. This wasn't a phase. It wasn't a game for her. Music was becoming part of her identity. Taking her away from it would have been like forcing her to breathe without air. So, the family didn't pull her back. That smell, music, instead, they pushed her forward. They became her first audience, her earliest supporters. Her parents, grandparents, and relatives all gathered around whenever she began her little shows. She grabbed anything she could find, a remote, a brush, sometimes a book, and held it like a microphone. Then she would pour her imagination into it with such sincerity that the watching adults often felt a strange emotion rising in them. She entertained them, made them laugh, but more importantly, she made them believe. And slowly that belief grew into certainty. Courtney's enthusiasm refused to stay within four walls. Performing only for family was no longer enough. She wanted more faces, more hearts to reach. School became her next frontier. Lunchtime and breaks stopped being just about food or playground games. For Courtney, those moments became stages. She sang when others ate. She practiced when others chatted. At first, it was just her, a small girl singing by herself. But soon, other kids began noticing. Her voice had a pull. It had a softness and a depth that didn't match her age. Students stopped to listen. Words spread. Before long, the teachers noticed, too. Hessenden Primary School unintentionally became her first official training ground. Every time there was an event, celebration, or program requiring a singer, everyone knew who deserved the spotlight. Courtney wasn't just a student anymore. She became the girl with the voice, a cheerful presence who brought life to the school atmosphere with melody. As she moved forward into high school, the stakes became higher. The academy at Shotton Hall introduced new responsibilities, heavier academic pressure, and the struggle of balancing passion with studies. But Courtney didn't stumble. Instead, she grew. She became part of the school choir, shining in every performance, and became a familiar face in school productions. She learned early how to juggle schoolwork and music without letting one destroy the other. Her goal was never fame. She wasn't chasing stardom. She was simply answering the call of something she couldn't ignore. But the adults around her, teachers, mentors, knew what she carried wasn't ordinary. They knew gifts like hers must be shaped, refined, trained. They encouraged her to seek proper guidance to explore her potential professionally. And for that, Courtney needed training beyond what she could naturally perform. Her parents, limited by finances but rich in support, enrolled her in local performance programs. She joined Shotton Hall Theatre School, where she learned discipline in performance, how movement complements music, how emotions travel through body language, how presence matters as much as voice. Then she moved to the Peanut Master class and later to Kate Sir's School of Music. Every step sharpened her. She learned pitch, scale, progression, technique, but still something crucial was missing. A dedicated vocal coach. Then came Jules Miles' Vocal Ovation. This was where her rough edges were trimmed and her strengths intensified. She learned to control her voice, protect it, and use it with power and emotion. She began to sing not just boldly but with confidence. But talent needs a stage, and the world needed to hear her. Her dreams were bigger than her age. Yet she stood ready. The problem was the path: professional recording too expensive, joining bands too demanding for a girl balancing school. Touring impossible. So what was left? Which road could take her to the next level without destroying her academics? Courtney's journey toward greatness was never about taking the big leap. She knew that sometimes those monumental moments could take a lifetime to come. In her early teens, Courtney was still young and driven by ambition, but she wasn't about to rush the process. She understood that success was built step by step, and she was prepared to work her way up. Instead of waiting for a massive break, Courtney took every opportunity that came her way. She didn't turn down local shows or festivals, fully immersing herself in these smaller,
more intimate performances. Her focus wasn't on fame. She simply wanted a platform to share her voice, her love for music. The young star became a familiar face at local events, earning the reputation as the go-to musician when a festival needed an artist to dazzle the crowd. These moments, though not widely recognized, were monumental in shaping who she was. Every small stage she stepped onto was a learning experience, helping her master her voice and refine her craft. The more she performed, the more her confidence grew. Her fan base slowly expanded beyond her hometown as people began to take notice of her undeniable talent. It wasn't long before a significant opportunity came knocking. Teen Star, a national competition in the United Kingdom where Courtney would face off against some of the most talented young musicians in the country. Brown, Bruce Springsteen, Aretha Franklin. This was no longer just a local stage. This was a chance for her to test her skills at a higher level. But with that opportunity came pressure. Courtney wasn't just aiming to do well. She wanted to succeed. Her thoughts became clouded with self-doubt as she prepared for the competition. Was she ready to take on such a big challenge? Would she be able to rise to the occasion? Preparation for the competition felt like an exam ground for Courtney. Even at such a young age, she understood that failing wasn't an option. The pressure weighed heavily on her, but she was determined to prove herself. When her moment finally came, Courtney delivered a performance that left the judges in awe. She realized that this stage wasn't all that different from the one she had conquered in Heason. The familiarity of the local performances gave her the confidence to soar. Courtney breezed through the local level, made it to the state level, and ultimately found herself competing nationally. But how would she fare on the national stage? The national level brought with it a new set of challenges. It wasn't just about having a great voice. It was about popularity. Courtney, a girl from Asmal village in the northern part of England, didn't have the same fame or recognition as some of her competitors from bigger cities. But despite these obstacles, she gave a performance that was nothing short of spectacular. Though she didn't win the competition, she earned a great reputation and was recognized as one of the standout performers. In 2016, Courtney was even honored as the Best Performer of the Year by Heart Loophole, a recognition that reinforced her belief in her talent and potential. Courtney's journey didn't stop there. She knew that if she continued to work hard and refine her skills, bigger opportunities would follow. Her ambition pushed her to tackle more complex music, challenging her voice to reach new heights. At just 13 years old, Courtney had already achieved what most people would consider the pinnacle of success. She had mastered her breath control. Her timing was impeccable, and she could effortlessly transition between high and low pitches. Her talent was undeniable, and it didn't take long for another opportunity to come her way. This time it wasn't just another local competition. It was The Voice Kids UK, one of the most prestigious music shows for young performers in the United Kingdom. Courtney, now 13, had raised the bar for herself. She wasn't just entering as a young hopeful anymore. She was entering as a star. The show's blind auditions marked the beginning of her journey on a much larger stage. For her audition, Courtney chose Nutbush City Limits by Tina Turner, a song that showcased the strength of her voice. It was a perfect choice, and when she performed, the judges couldn't help but captivated by her raw talent. Courtney was picked to join Danny Jones's team, and from there her journey on The Voice Kids UK became even more intense. The battleground stage was one of the most challenging moments of her life. She performed Dancing in the Street by Martha and the Vandellas, a song full of energy and passion. Her performance helped her secure a victory in the battle round against her competitors, Ebony Green and Holly Furman. But winning the battle stage didn't mean she'd won the competition outright. The real test came in the semi-final, where she performed I Got You, I Feel You by James Brown, one of her idols. Courtney's performance was strong, but it wasn't enough to take her to the top. In the final, Courtney